Hi everyone, welcome to Nice Driving 44, and today's episode is going to be concentrating on driving nicely around lorries. This can't and shouldn't be done every single time you see a lorry driver trying to emerge, but pick your moments and opportunities, and if you can help out, do so. I thought my viewer did particularly well here. They saw the oncoming gap and just held back. Perfect. With the slow traffic up ahead, it was the ideal time to do this. As you can see, in the end it cost my viewer no time whatsoever. The traffic's still queuing up ahead. Here's another situation where you may sometimes decide to cede priority. I know these two roundabouts well on the outskirts of Preston, and they can be quite busy at certain times of the day. But look at the lorry driver on the left hand side. They sort of read the Honda in front of my viewer, but they can't commit because the Honda driver didn't signal. So my viewer helps out. Not signalling for me if I'm in my car makes little or no difference, but it makes a lot of difference if you're a lorry driver. Try not to sit next to lorries wherever possible, but especially when there's a junction coming up. If you didn't know that lorry drivers sometimes have to straddle lanes to make the corner properly, you should hand in your driving licence. Always hold back and never go down either side, and that's on or in whatever vehicle you're operating. Another situation where you shouldn't be going next to a lorry driver in my opinion. It always amazes me how bad all motorists are at these big spiral roundabouts, but it shouldn't really be catching out a professional driver, should it? In any case, don't trust them as far as you could throw them.
What was the last thing he would have expected? Enter stage right, Tony Blair, former Prime Minister, speaking at a lunch where he sounds off.
Yeah, you'll be absolutely amazed to hear that Tony...
Country roads like this can be quite challenging when driving a car, so think on how they would be if you were driving a lorry. Try and help out where possible. I think I would have liked to have been a little slower at that passing point though. Why do you think that wasn't possible? Please let me know in the comments. Nice driving is a lot of the time all about anticipation, so you know what's going to happen going forward. And that's not always the case when you're thinking of buying a car. But if you check a car out using Car Vertical, it can give you great peace of mind. By simply putting the reg or the VIN number into the Car Vertical website, you get sent a detailed report in about 40 seconds. The reports are stacked full of great information that's going to help you make your purchase, or not. The reports can show if your car's been damaged, and there can be pictures that go along with it. They also check for mileage fraud, theft, financial and legal problems, and much more. The reports are really easy to read. They're colour coded so you can clearly see what's a problem area and what's not. So really, checking your car through Car Vertical is anticipation of your potential new car purchase. You can still use the code Ashley and it's going to save you 20% on checking out one report. However, using the same code is going to save you 50% on checking out more than one report. Don't leave any car unchecked. Thanks Car Vertical. This is an interesting one for me. A merge and turn situation, and we've got two lorries in lane 2. Remember, merge and turn should go one from one side and then one from the other. So have a look at the red car a little bit further up. Where should the silver car fit into things? My viewer Lee preempts things by pressing the save button, thanks for sending in mate, and then works out the lorry driver is going to be pretty positive and the Fiesta driver is going to try and battle. So Lee just backs off and lets it happen. Who's going to win here, do you think? I've never got a problem being positive, doing the correct things, and I think this lorry driver did okay. In the end, the driver of the silver Ford gets the message and backs off, and my viewer accommodates also. Situations like this can turn messy sometimes, but this one worked out okay. Notice the sign on the left. and the lorry coming in the opposite direction. Would you have done this? Lovely work. Both of these lanes head round to the left. What would you do now? Of course Smiler Bob picks the correct option, but to be fair I do think the lorry driver gave Smiler Bob an option to go first. Good all round here. This clip's a perfect reminder of someone trying to be nice, but it goes a little too far, and it doesn't work out to be the best flow for everyone. Watch the driver behind.
Beep, beep. And the one behind me beeped me because I was giving way to him.
I would like to use this clip to remind people that it's often easier for you to slow not driving a lorry than the lorry driver. Try and accommodate where possible. I don't think that tipper lorry was slowing for anyone though. I call this John's skill, although he's not on his own in using it. Watch the two lorries on the left. The one nearest to us is catching the first one. What's it probably going to do? John would have already been out in lane 3. My viewer was annoyed with themselves that they didn't see that HGV move coming. Don't worry, you won't get all of them. At least you're trying to do the correct thing. Holding back and leaving lorries more room to turn isn't just for UK roads. I always go on about best flow for everyone, and this is a perfect tactic to achieve this. Nice job. This clip is very similar to my one on the M62 a couple of months back. This time though, my viewer has to take a different type of action, and it's the correct one. They decide to hold back rather than being the meat in a lorry sandwich. Let's just see how this one develops. Watch my viewer's speed in the bottom left.
So today, on this special day, we all want to say a very happy 70th birthday to Jill.
Did you also spot the stay in lane sign?
We all love you so much, and hope you're having the best day as we all celebrate your very lovely
Ridiculous, guys! Come on!
Also a great decision to go back to the left lane. Just in situations like this, try not to get angry. Just take solace knowing that you've dealt with it perfectly. It's not just coming out of junctions where lorries need more space. They'll also need more turning in. And when you're riding a motorbike, you can be easily missed. But this lorry driver's got things covered. They can't turn in, so they hold back. I also think they do a great job with their positioning, but don't forget there could still be another motorbike coming through on the left side. Try not to rush in this situation. Try and plan when your gap is going to arrive, and be ready to use it. Nice job all round here. To finish, we've got a clip from Smiler Bob. and it highlights exactly how forward planning must be in place for you to help any road user, and it's even more important when you've got lorries to deal with as well. Lorry drivers have to make deliveries, so leave the flow for everyone else where possible. Here, the biggest problem for me is people coming up behind, so expect them just to overtake because they haven't read the situation. The traffic starts to move up ahead. Bob reads it nicely and gets moving. So we've just seen a parked lorry and we've helped flow. What about a moving one? Would you have spotted this? It's difficult to make out because dashcam distances aren't what we see in real life. However, there's some roadworks up ahead and the cars are queuing, so it made perfect sense to hold back here and allow this lorry driver to come through. There are many situations we encounter where there won't be enough space to go through with a lorry, but it's still fine if there are cars coming in the opposite direction. And this is obviously one of them, but notice it's done at the correct pace, and this also helps the pedestrian walk across the road. And the last little point of this clip is where Bob waits. There's definitely a thought process for larger vehicles coming from the opposite direction with this situation. Cracking work, Bob. Keep safe everyone. I'll see you all soon.